Hey yo, we back at it like a bad habit. If you want something better, go grab it. And today, we're going to be reacting to wardrobe malfunctions. If you got that intro, by the way, if you understood that reference, then you are a true janitor. Now look, I've pretty much covered all aspects of wrestling since starting these wrestling videos back in 2019. 1 year later, police on the scene. Oh hell, man. But I've never covered wardrobe malfunctions. Now, as like silly as it may sound, like why would you make a video about wardrobe malfunctions? I know some of you are probably thinking that. This is actually like quite serious. Because obviously as a wrestler, you're like very hands-on with your opponent. So you're obviously trying to pull off these moves well and safely and as realistic as possible, right? But at the same time, you've got to make sure you don't like pull someone's bottoms down, pull someone's like top half down, because they're on live TV. So you can't just edit out a mistake like that. If someone's boob slips out and the camera's on them, like that's drastic. So there is a video here from Watch WWE. He is actually a very good YouTuber. He does make some nice wrestling videos and his commentary is very good as well. He's good at narrating videos and, you know, talking about the stuff. As you can see, I'm not very good at that. Probably should be. I am a YouTuber after all myself. Anyway, he made a video called 10 Shocking Wardrobe Malfunctions on Live TV. And that is the key. Live TV, that is what makes this just, you know, bad. Very, very bad. If it wasn't live, then they could edit that out, no problem. But since it's live, you've got to make sure you don't slip out a tit or something. And it's not just for the females as well. I know there's a higher chance for them, but even with the men, you can still pull someone's trunks down by accident and they could expose... What do you mean no space on the memory card? Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted there, sorry, my camera just decided to run out of memory. I mean, whose fault is that? Definitely not mine for not deleting all the footage off it. Anyway, yes, a dude's flopper could flop out as well. And then it's the same sort of story. Like, what do? You can't really do anything about it. Anyway, let's stop talking about it and let's get into the video and let's see just what type of wardrobe malfunctions have happened in the past and who were the victims of this drastic crime. Oh, I saw a blur there at Bryan's. Yeah, so I think I heard about that actually. Was it a testicle I think popped out there? You see, there's nothing you can do about it.
From a wrestler's finisher to their entrance, moveset to promos, every little aspect of what you see on the screen comes together to form a complete package. And a criminally underrated aspect of what makes a wrestler is the wardrobe. What you wear really does play a role. I mean, just saying names like Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart probably puts a perfect image in your mind right now. Hell, Hulk Hogan has basically one of the most iconic outfits in all of entertainment, and Stone Cold's simple getup only furthered him as a badass in the eyes of many.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, just like everything else we talk about on this channel and WWE in general,
that's staged, that one.
It all goes.
There's no way.
I'm D Wicked from Watch WWE. Go wash your hands already.
Be sure to get under those fingernails, and don't forget about the knuckles.
And
you heard it here first, folks.
WWE wardrobe malfunctions.
All right.
Number 10, Charlotte. One of the most imbalanced sounding matchups I think I've ever heard. Charlotte was wrestling against Lana when her wardrobe malfunction took place. Seriously, that match sounds atrocious.
Yeah.
The early August 2017 edition of SmackDown Live kicked off a bit oddly as these two ladies took to the ring and almost immediately put on a show no one was expecting to pay for. As Lana is, how you say, dog inside the squared circle, she's pretty prone to botches and just generally getting things wrong. For example, just a minute into their match, Lana gets flipped over Charlotte instead of smoothly sliding over her body. She kind of clings on way too close to Charlotte's, and so her body kind of naturally pulled her shorts down all the way, leaving a few dudes in the crowd way too happy.
That's what we're seeing right here. Come very close to winning the
she pulls on the trunks. That dude in the yellow with the championship is straight up. And, oh god, that's just awkward, isn't it? You know what? At least she wasn't facing the camera. Because it's one thing the people in the crowd at that one side seeing your ass, but it's another thing when it's the whole world on TV. So that could have been worse, to be fair. You heard her properly like scream as well, like whoa, whoa, and that's very understandable. Like when someone has a wardrobe malfunction, obviously you're not going to focus on trying to wrestle your opponent. You're going to completely throw that out the window and try and pull your trunks up or whatever before more people see. You already know people are going to see, but before it gets any worse.
AJ Styles.
Oh,
And
no.
speaking of unexpected, that's AJ, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! During his fantastic feud with Dean Ambrose over the WWE title during the back half of 2016, the pair squared off in one of the best modern TLC matches on the same named pay-per-view you'll ever see. During the match, I'm not quite sure how he did it, whether it was via TLC or option D, but Styles managed to get a decent-sized hole out of his pants right where his was. So basically, anytime Styles' back was to the camera during the second half of the match, you were being greeted to a hole out of AJ.
No.
Some call it a blessing. You be the judge. Don't it look good?
Number 8.
You know what, the thing is with that one as well, like, that's not just something falling down, that is a permanent rip in your attire. You can't just be like, oh sorry, I'm going to change real quick. You've got to just wrestle the match as it is, and I'm sure he didn't even realise. Maybe the referee told him at some point, or maybe Dean managed to slip the word in as well. But I'm sure for the majority of that match, he had no idea that happened. So, obviously that's a bit embarrassing. It's not the worst thing ever. It was only a small kind of rip. It could have been worse. But there's nothing he can do about it. That's the unfortunate thing there with that one.
The Nicki Twins. The Bella Twins are no strangers to the old wardrobe malfunction, which really shouldn't even come as a surprise if you've ever looked at what they're wearing. Very much products of the Diva era, if not literally its best representatives, the girls have each suffered multiple slip-ups. While Nicki's worst didn't happen on WWE television, it did take place on the Bella's YouTube channel and basically exposed an entire one of Nicki's Bellas.
No way! Here's my baby. Say hi. Come here.
Oh no.
Say hi.
Number 7.
Oh, this is why when you're a YouTuber, that just goes to show that when she edits her videos, she doesn't pay enough attention, and if she doesn't edit her videos and someone else does, that editor needs to be fired, because that's just ridiculous. Obviously, editing the video, you would have seen your nipple, surely. At least that's what you would think, but apparently Nicki Bella just didn't quite catch it until it was too late.
Well, get both.
Now it's time for the sister.
I knew her sister was going to be here too. In order to promote the upcoming debut of Total Divas way back in 2013, Jesus Christ, it's going to be 8 years old, WWE threw all of the cast out in the ring for a special edition of Ms. TV that, believe it or not, was boring as piss. The only real note of intrigue from the entire night was when the camera panned across all the ladies, and as that camera swept past Nicki and Brie Bella, right there out in the open, clearly exposed to the cameras and thousands of fans and families in attendance, was one of Brie's nipples just chilling, waving hello to the fans.
It will be awesome.
Not quite the way I think the King
Oh no!
Number 6, Rosa Mendes. Did you guys
Unlucky.
know that Rosa Mendes retired from WWE all the way back in February of 2017? I'm not gonna lie, in the prep for this video, I had to look up her name again just to see if she was still signed to the company. The girl hasn't wrestled for 3 years. This should all about sum up where Rosa's place was on the WWE totem pole during her tenure, so unsurprisingly, this here wardrobe malfunction pretty much her magnum opus. AJ might have done it with a little more style, and Charlotte's facial reaction did make a great moment, but when it comes to the bare spot, you gotta give credit to the OG, because Rosa did it first.
And Rosa's all fired up here tonight. Look at Layla.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Number 5.
That's just so
AJ
obvious. Like, when you're going to grab someone from the trunks like that to pull them off the apron, obviously you're going to completely expose them like that.
If you grew up during the
AJ
early
Lee.
2010s and you watched the old WWE, you probably remember 4 women total. Nicki Bella, Brie Bella, Caitlyn, and AJ Lee, and that's not by accident. While the former 2 were essentially spearheaded as the epitome of the Divas era, Caitlyn and AJ Lee shined throughout that void of talent through, well, sheer talent, which kind of makes it sad looking back on how both of them left the business before women were ever truly taken seriously. When it comes to AJ Lee, here's a fun little fact. CM Punk is very widely known as my favorite wrestler of all time, but AJ is far and away, still to this day, my favorite female wrestler of all time.
What a Jew.
I couldn't tell you a single match she was ever in. I don't remember. I barely even can picture her Black Widow finisher. But, just like Punk, she's shown through via charisma and storyline capability. Now, let's throw all of this positive buildup and affirmation out the window because, look, it's a bra. Rather unfortunate for AJ, and probably fortunate for 13-year-old me. Just as she was seductively licking her hand and crawling onto her knees, her shirt just happened to be lifted up just a tad bit too high.
It doesn't look like it was on accident as well, that's the thing. She looks like she's trying to be all sexy, but oh no.
Number 4, Eva Marie. I mean,
damn, girl.
Right? If there's ever a justifiably best wardrobe malfunction, I think it has to be this one by default, because it's the only one they actually meant to do. That second word, malfunction, pretty much means that they're always accidental, but in building this new Eva Marie character who kept finding different ways to avoid having to wrestle, her randomly losing her top before facing off against Becky Lynch and having to be escorted to the back was actually pretty damn genius.
Becky Lynch is good, but... God.
Number 3, Daniel Bryan.
I mean, it was meant to happen, so that's all good.
I did not need to see Daniel Bryan's junk in my lifetime, but alas, it has happened. Thankfully, I didn't get a look at the full planet's penis, but during his Elimination Chamber opening matchup against Drew Gulak, one of D-Bride's nuts decided to come out and play. I'll be honest, I'm not smart enough of a wrestling fan to properly tell you what this move is that Gulak is hitting on Bryan when it happened, but whatever he did was so utterly catastrophic to Bryan's body that it caused the clothing to just want to seep away from his body, leading to this unfortunate overexposure for a brief period of the match. So, you know, if anyone's in the market for one of Daniel Bryan's balls, have at it, I guess.
It is over. From the top rope, face first goes Bryan.
It's just unfortunate, isn't it? Nothing you can do. Well, the fact that it happened twice in that same match.
Sasha Banks, and just as Daniel got to somewhat kick off 2020 with a wardrobe controversy, Sasha Banks was kicking off 2019 the exact same way. In a tag team match pitting Banks and best friend Bayley against Ronda Rousey and Natalya, that's weird. Banks ended up in an odd situation when her entire wrestling shorts fell down, not unlike Charlotte in the first entry, exposing the entirety of Banks' thong to the crowd, and unfortunately, the camera that was focused, like, directly on her.
Oh no, not directly. Oh god.
Sasha's also run into similar issues at both of her Hell in a Cell matches, ironically enough, although those were more of just tights being pulled up way too tight.
And now Charlotte looking to take advantage. Oh, being on the table.
Jesus. That's so unfortunate.
Honorable mention. Let's throw one out there.
Wait, I've got to talk about that for a second because hers is definitely like one of the worst since the camera was right up there. Oh god. Yeah. I feel bad for her for that one. That's terrible. She was wearing a thong as well, so yeah, not good.
This has pretty clearly been more the kind of malfunction where some inappropriate body part is trying to break free from censorship and say hello to everybody. But as far as any other kind of wardrobe malfunction, you gotta give credit to Shawn for having easily the most entertaining.
Oh, okay, so this is why it's an honorable mention, because it was different. He got all tangled up.
And number 1, Stephanie McMahon. Yeah, there was no way this wasn't winning. In what has to be like the most Attitude Era thing to ever happen, Triple H was busy manhandling his girlfriend, wife, I don't know, something at the time. I'll be honest, I'm not sure whatever their relationship was then. The fact that Steph's real-life husband is the one causing the malfunction is hilarious. As he puts Stephanie into position for the pedigree, her right boob can clearly be seen flopping out of position and just sort of dangling there for an unfortunate number of seconds.
Unlucky. Alright, let's see this. Pedigree, pops out. Nothing you can do, I'm afraid. Just gonna take the L on that one. Well, that's it then for my reaction to some wardrobe malfunctions. Very interesting video. Very informative video. And a very important video, I feel like, because I don't think I've ever really talked about this. I don't think I've ever really thought about these incidents happening. But it does happen quite often. And as a wrestler, you've got to make sure that you're not pulling your opponent's trunks down when you're trying to grapple them, which can be difficult apparently. So yeah, it's just a risk you've got to take, I guess. But that is it for now, so drop a like on the video for me if you guys have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another video. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.